All right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 6, and you're back with us. Yes, everybody does have a podcast. All right, we're gonna get this going. Today, we're gonna talk about sibling relationships, how it works, how we feel about them, what defines a loving relationship with a sibling, what defines a not so loving relationship, and how it applies to us. So just to go back a little, if everybody doesn't know already, me and Rafaela are blood sisters. That's my girl. That's my ace boon coon. Recently, she had a little bit of a health scare, which kind of scared everybody. But now she's a lot better, and she's back with us this week.
Yay. Praise God.
All right, praise God. So I just wanted to talk about siblings, how complicated that relationship could be sometimes, how it affects your day to day. With sibling relationships, it's always a little, I would say, kind of like it's always a little challenging. I know from my experience myself, I have an older sister. I don't know how it is to like have a younger sibling and like have to guide them. My sister has always been very great to me. Without her, I wouldn't have this group of friends because she was my best friend. So I totally tagged along with everything. She absolutely hated my guts. When she was a teenager.
Right. Tell her you ain't hit her guts.
You know, yeah.
She just wanted her friend
Okay.
time.
No, I just couldn't do anything without her. That was it.
Right. But with that being said, it was almost forced. Like we were like kind of like forced into that pairing initially to have to do everything together, which led me to have the ability to build all these beautiful relationships with everybody here. So, you know, it was a vessel. That's what I want to say, that created all of this. But I just wanted to kind of touch on it. I think that a sibling relationship is very special and unique. I think obviously like every type of relationship, you have to put a lot of work into it. When I deal with any of you guys, I deal with you guys almost like I would deal with Rafaela, like my true sister, because I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere, and we just have to kind of work it out.
Right.
But I have seen different relationships, and it's kind of, I just want to talk on the dynamic of it. I know that Farah is our only person here who does have a sibling, but
No, she's an only child.
She's an only child.
She acts like that.
Yeah.
She's an only child.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's go around and
yeah.
ask, I guess, because people don't know us,
Right.
right? Or the ones who do know may know that we have siblings or not, but I guess we can go.
Right. And I have an older sister too. Shout out to Ebony. Hey girl.
Hey, girl.
Love you, Ebony Gray. All right.
Chi-town.
Chi-town. She is our sister. She's our half sister from my dad's side, and we love her. She's older. How much older is she than?
She's a few years.
Yeah, she's a few years older than my sister.
Hello.
telling her
Yeah, I'm
age.
not going there. I'm not
But,
going there.
Even with that dynamic, it's a little different because she was an older child than us. We met her kind of later. After I met her later in life, a few years later, and then we still communicate now, and we try to speak daily. Obviously, it would be nicer if she was closer so we can kind of have that more of a bond. But like me and my sister, we've always been super tight, super close. We live together too, so it's like, yeah. It's intense.
Yeah.
It's you know.
A lot of siblings have strife.
Right.
And going back to what Samantha said, besides Farah, all of us have siblings.
Yes.
I have sisters and Samantha has brothers.
Yeah, I'm the middle child.
Me too. Ironically, it works out to be that way because it is, well, that's a whole fucking story. But either way, right? We all have siblings, and the sister sibling situation is interesting because it's different. You know, you can either hate your sister or love your sister depending on the day.
Right.
And also, you know, it's a difficult relationship because it's also like, you know, you're vying for your mom's attention subconsciously. There's a lot of other shit going on when you have siblings in the home.
Right.
So, and sometimes having a sibling, especially a sister sibling, is hard because there's always bullshit that comes attached to it. It's always like, well, your mother, or she favors you because of this, or I mean, I'm
Like
sure,
girly cattiness also within it.
I don't like that with boys too, but I don't have brothers, so I can't speak from that.
I know, like, when it comes to my siblings, me and my younger brother, shout out to him, we say who's what for my mother. Like, my older brother, we call him the only begotten because he's the first. He's my mother. We say he's my mother's favorite.
Apple of her eye.
Right. And I can't remember what we call the little one, my little brother, as if he's like small. But everybody has a title, role.
That's true.
For the parent.
Yeah.
Even though my mom says no, she loves all of us the same way.
Right, but my mom said that too. But Rafaela might be different and saying something else. But I might feel like
What?
We thought you were the favorite for a while.
No,
Back in the day.
me, I'm a mom's mom.
She is
like
a-
I've always
she is
been
a
a mom.
favorite child.
I'm a mom's baby.
Like
I'm my mom's baby.
I'm my mom's baby. I've always been that way since I was younger, even with my dad around. And I loved my dad. Like I was obsessed with him, but I still was like, I'm gonna choose mommy still, because that was just how the dynamic was. With Rafaela, what I always had kind of like a little jealousy about was that she was able to have time with my dad alone that I never got when she was younger. I'm sure that she doesn't even remember it.
No,
but,
I remember.
But she got to spend time with him, just him and her
I
in
had jealousy
Chicago.
too. I had jealousy too because I lost my dad when I was young, and I felt like my older sisters had a lot of time. And I feel like, I lost him when I was 19, but he was sick for a very long time.
Right.
And he was bedridden, right?
Rest in peace, Angel.
Rest in peace, Angel. So I feel like my sister had a lot of time with him, and my cousin Jackie, who was the only begotten at that time. She was the only child in the family. So I felt like I didn't get enough time too. So I could definitely relate to that. I feel like and that's why my older sister felt more entitled. Because
Right.
Did you think you could have everything because your father was here? Right?
Right,
But and I think that entitlement that she had was because she had spoiled by her,
Both
she was the only
parents.
child for 5 years.
Right.
And then,
And that's a long time.
And then
It is a-
That is a long time.
Shout out to her trying to kill me. And putting the pillow.
Say that.
As a child,
Oh my God, my
don't
dad
say that
called
she tried to
Rafaela-
kill you like now.
No,
She
but
tried to kill her now.
No.
As a
Rafaela,
kid.
tell the story that my dad caught her with the pillow over my head when I was an infant.
Exactly.
Like,
That's
that's
what-
Wow,
it.
that's
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
y'all mean. I didn't do that.
Okay, I'm a murderer.
I didn't do that to my little brother.
I mean,
I
they
didn't
told
kill
me the
her.
story. Obviously, I don't remember. I was like 3 years old or 4 because we're 3 years apart. No, so 3 years old. She's home, and I think I tried to put the pillow over her. They caught
Like,
me.
I think.
But
So they say.
so they say.
It's probably you thought I was
And
a
like
baby.
you said, maybe because it was the time. So it was almost like, who's this little kid taking up all the time? Because I was having, now
having
you
your
taking up
time.
my time. But I mean, it wasn't as extreme like
My
she's
sister
saying
tried to
it.
kill me multiple times, but that's not here, nor there.
We're not gonna talk about it.
We love you, big sister.
Right.
You don't got about the 5 pictures that I got on my chin.
Not your sister trying to kill you every 5 minutes.
I love my sister. I love my older sister. She's when I was younger, like Stephanie, because me and her are little sisters, but I'm also the middle because I have a little sister that's behind me. Jade, who was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Bianca.
She's the first little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Besides Stephanie being
Right,
different. But
right.
Stephanie's different.
right.
Yeah.
Because Stephanie was like, I see Stephanie as a little sister, but I don't
No.
see her as a like baby.
I saw Stephanie as a little sister when I first met Rafaela.
I agree.
Right, and I was like, "Why your little sister have to come everywhere we go? Like, why?" I
All
was
the
like, "Who is
time.
she? Like, she's annoying. Like,
So annoying.
like I ain't gonna hold
And
you."
I used to be like, I don't care.
We
And I used to be like, I don't
adulthood
care.
that I really embraced Stephanie as like our age
Our
group
friend.
level.
Like our equal.
Yeah, because she was always just
because
a little
she's not
sister.
that much younger than us, to be honest.
She's not.
She's not. But
Yeah.
that's how she came in. She was the little sister.
she was the little sister.
My
always
sister was
wanted to
like
hang
that
out.
too. My older sister, she never wanted me to hang out with nobody. She was like,
Oh my God.
But your
I
age
remember
difference
Ethan-
is
first of all,
bigger.
Ethan's
Yeah.
crew was like fire. We wanted,
Right.
we wanted to be done
And the
with
age
them
difference
so
is
bad.
different. And I do believe that the age dynamics makes a big difference because when you're younger, 5 years, 3 years is a lot.
It is.
But as you get older, past
not
your
the same.
20s,
It's not-
you're on the same
not
level.
that much.
It is.
So I think for you, when it comes to you and your sister, that age gap was a lot, right? Where were you going?
significant age. Me and my younger.
Yeah, and you're not hanging out with Jade.
No.
And Jade is not hanging out with you.
She doesn't, we're old now. We're old.
Jay don't be wanting to hang out with us all the time.
She's like looking at us
Does a little time
like,
and she's out. She's like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
right.
She doesn't care about
She was like, okay, thank you for coming. Bye.
Yeah.
I think in my mind, I always had this kind of deep desire to have that kind of relationship, like
Obsessive though?
like not an obsessive one, but just like some relationships that I think you see on TV, like how brothers and sisters are, like, oh my God, they get along so well, they come to each other for everything.
That's TV.
And
Remember that?
it sounds good sometimes, but you also have to understand the dynamics of people, and you have to meet them where they are in different places of their life, like in different areas. I remember when Rafaela went to military, when she went to the Marine Corps, and I was like,
giving all my business out here.
sorry, devastated. I was devastated, but it's like there was so many different.
But it's so crazy because you were so devastated, but I knew that she was coming right back.
Yeah.
So Stephanie
But I was so
she
deep.
she was over here like in deep convulsive crying. I'm like,
Oh, I
once
lost
again,
my
me and
sister.
Stephanie Russell lived in the same building.
No,
for a
it's so
long time.
funny. I was like, I lost my sister to
And I'm
the
over here
military.
And I
To
was
the
like,
military.
And I was going as a reservation, like a, I was
Reserve.
like a reservist
Reserve.
at the time, so it wasn't like I was
To
going
me, it
into
was
like battle right
it was
away.
so deep and dark.
And I think,
remember.
but no, around that time, wasn't it like the Gulf
Yeah, it
War?
was, but
Philippines are the first ones to go.
The best-
That's
I
why I
mean-
was scared. I'm like, nigga, send her to Iraq.
And I'm over here like, calm down, you fucking crazy. She was like, ooh, in deep, Stephanie was in deep convulsive.
I was
so gun ho though. I was so
gun-ho.
excited.
No,
But that's why I was
Because
happy for her too, because I wanted that for her, because she really wanted that.
I mean,
can I say something about that? I don't mean to interrupt you. But every time Rafaela does something, I feel like she drags all of us with her because when
Emotionally.
when she did the military thing, we was busy, we was there with the sergeant.
Yeah,
Oh, he had that. Marine
That presence.
Yeah, but he was nice
Yeah.
with her. I feel like we were being down there like bullshit, and she'd be like coming back from doing whatever 30-mile run. And we're like, I ready to go. I didn't take it
Right
seriously.
downtown. Me too. You know what? I didn't take it seriously till she left. So I was like, oh shit, she's really she's really doing this.
I mean-
It's like major.
I will have to say they did support me during that time because they wrote letters. I still have the whole stash. Like some of those things I won't ever throw away, like cards, letters, pictures, telling me about whatever's going on in the hood.
Right, Ruffy?
Yeah, you did.
I don't think so.
Well,
I used to write her all the time.
everybody sent me something. So if somebody didn't send me a letter, then somebody said, and Jeannie told me to tell you this.
Yes,
or Lauren,
I think it was
Lauren told me
through
to tell
somebody.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it was something like that. And they kept me going because it was rough initially. But I mean,
This is annoying.
in regard to siblings, I was gonna say also. I mean, so yeah, I feel like I always was an older sibling, so I never understand the younger sibling thing. To be honest, what else can I
But
say?
you can say that about your children because the older siblings, like I see with my daughter, they're type A, right?
Yeah, I
Like
would say.
A. So like Leah's type A, and she's very like she wants to excel. She wants.
Yes,
She wants.
I
to,
agree.
To make me proud, right? Whereas the middle child can give two shits, because they're like either they're neglected because I have 3 kids. And they doing shit on their own, winging it because I'm figuring out the older one, dealing with the younger one, and they're like, doo, 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 doo. Like, let me figure it out because mom is so busy with the younger one because it's usually a younger child, a newborn, or like a little baby. On the older one, probably got their shit in school, their other drama. So the middle child kind of falls to the wayside.
I mean, I don't have a
I
middle
think
child.
that's me.
Oh, that maybe that is.
Like I am definitely that child who like figured it out. And my mom always says, out of all my children, I always know Samantha got it. Like she'll be all right.
Well, because it's
You're the girl,
Right.
too, though.
And you
And
always
because-
call yourself the middle child because you feel like you were
I have
the
middle
less
child-
heard.
I have middle child syndrome. I don't care what anybody says, but it's true. It's a
What
it's
is
a
middle
real.
child syndrome. Please.
But a middle child syndrome is like
We're
you
gonna
don't
do
feel
a
you don't feel
t-shirt like
heard.
physiotic. We're gonna do a t-shirt like that. Physiotic. Yeah.
You don't feel heard. You feel like you gotta like fight your way through. You feel like you have to kind of like say, "Hey, I'm here."
I do believe that. I don't know if it's a real syndrome, but I do believe it happens because I feel like now my children, like my daughter is a middle child now because she has other younger siblings when she goes to her father's house. So I think now when she comes home to me, her behaviors are behaviors of a middle child in a sense,
Like-
where she's definitely searching for attention still, where she's
1,000%.
definitely almost still kind of trying to wing it at times. And I think after the first child, sometimes, you just get tired. I'm sorry. So then the second child, even if they're not a middle child, they definitely they get a little less from you. I don't know if it's energy wise. I don't know if it's just.
Or
No, I
is it-
agree.
now,
It's the
is it
same.
not that
My
you
second
get
child gets less.
I don't think that they get less. I think that by the time you have a second child, they're not going to break. You know that they're not gonna fall apart.
Right. So it's
You
a
know that-
different,
you
yeah.
know, you know
It's
that
a different vibe. You know more, so you do better.
So I think the first child you're super crazy because you're scared and you don't know. I think the second child you give yourself like a chance to breathe,
and you
Right.
give yourself more
this
grace with
child
that.
is going to be okay.
Right.
And I think that's how we have to think about it, because to be honest, the stuff that you do with your first child, most of it is for like, oh, I want to have 1,000
Right.
pictures. But
Right.
in reality, you think about it, what the fuck do you do with all those fucking pictures?
Right.
You
Nothing.
know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
So you learn.
Right.
And as you learn, you figure out what works for you. So I don't want to say that you tired.
Oh, you're giving less.
Right. You're not giving less. You're giving what you're.
You're giving a different dynamic.
Well, okay, well, so maybe you're
Well, I'm
not
the
giving
only- I think
less,
I'm the
but
only one that
sometimes
has
you
one
feel
child.
like that you're giving less because you feel like you gave so much energy to the first. I
Right.
do think that sometimes you feel, maybe as a parent, you feel like you're giving less, but of course, like you said, you still have to give the same type of energy because
Right.
you got to pour into that child as well.
You know that I said earlier that, the middle child may fall to the wayside, but at the same time, I don't think they fall to the wayside because you're giving less energy.
Right.
I feel like they fall to the wayside because when you have a third child, that's where the problem comes in, because if the third child is younger and they need more, and then the middle child probably is still, usually when you have
In
a third
between
child,
stages of
You know, like
development.
me, I had my children. Zoe's 2.5 years, so Zoe was a baby with a Bobo, and so was Liam. Because they're only 2.5 years apart.
Right.
So I felt like he's little. He took more of my energy, but it wasn't intentional. But I don't feel like I meant to. Like I gave her less. Well, maybe I did. I don't know.
You were tired.
All right.
I was tired.
All right. I mean, well,
Well, for my dynamics is totally. I'm not unique, but my children are 16 years apart. Wow.
So you have
I have two first children. So both of them are like want to like you said, type A personality, want to kind of like approval. You want to constantly show, I want your approval for everything that I do, blah, blah, blah. So I have two only children.
Yeah, two only children.
Yeah, I only have one child. So I don't know how to share my love that way. It would be different. It would be nice to have another child. I just don't want to have another child for the reasons that other people want me to have, like my mom and my aunt, who keep on asking me to have another one.
Okay.
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
talk about that
Thank you.
at another episode.
Thank you.
Another podcast.
Yes.
It's another episode.
I mean, I have two boys, and
well, how about, before you get to your boys, how about you? How you feel about just being not having
Farrah has only child syndrome.
Acts like an only child. 100%.
Do you want to share it?
Farrah has only child syndrome.
Let's talk about it.
Farrah has only child syndrome.
First of all, before Farrah starts, we always used to make fun of Farrah because she was the only child. Like, oh my gosh, she doesn't know. She's
not gonna share. She's not gonna
She
share.
doesn't know how to share. She come on,
No, but
give her
it's
a break.
But she didn't like sharing.
I think because of our sisterhood,
Right.
Farrah has learned
Yes, Farrah has
to be
she's
a
assimilated.
sibling.
She's assimilated.
Because when we first met Farrah,
like
yeah, but Farrah, you want to,
Come on,
did
cut
you
it
grow
out.
up with your cousins?
Come on.
But did you share with them? Did you share with them?
You're not
I
going to share with me?
did.
She's like, no, I'm hungry.
Right,
I'm
right,
hungry.
right. Farrah used
Y'all
to.
forced me to share more.
Farrah, you did not want to share. We'd be like, can I
Because I
have a chicken
wasn't
wing?
used to people
A
like-
whole wing.
Right? You're like,
I
wow.
would be like, oh my God.
And then she have some nerve, because if you have food in front of her now, forget about it. She tearing your
That's
shit
right.
up.
I'm part of
Yo,
that.
before you be like, to get one little grain of rice, you like, wow, Farrah, look, one little grain of rice.
Okay,
huh?
it's enough. Okay.
Not the accents.
I mean, like, I guess I didn't see at the time I had only child syndrome because I was raised with my cousins. A lot of my cousins, I lived together with them,
Right.
and I'm not done.
You-
I lived together with them.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, we shared.
Close to them.
Yeah, my cousin Danica, New Jersey. Like, I lived there for a while. I have my cousins, like...
I know you said Clotty, who was a whole ass adult and
Yeah,
helping
well,
to raise
But
Farrah.
that was her
I mean, she
cousin,
was like
though.
16, but of course, it was a big difference when she came here when I was a kid. But the whole point is, like, I did, but obviously me and you girls, I never had, like, obviously siblings. I mean, I do have siblings, but that's a whole nother story, father side. But,
They like Voldemort. We don't talk about them.
yeah.
No name. No
Don't
name.
talk about Bruno. No,
Right.
no. But yeah, so in regards to that, so it was not until I met these beautiful women where they started kind of like pushed me into it, like, girl,
You gotta share.
you gotta share. That's not all for you. And I'm like, but you have one too.
Son, we didn't have one. If we would have had, we wouldn't be asking you for
Yeah,
food.
yeah.
Because we do that all the time. No,
we would buy 3 plates of
No.
Chinese food and we were all sharing it out.
Yeah, we
and you were
all
like, no,
sharing.
this is mine. I
And
bought
we would be
this
like,
for
what
me.
you mean? There's nothing is yours here. This is it. Everybody
or you didn't put money
Everybody
towards it.
sharing.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
so
You'd be like,
what?
what?
I'm broke.
Yeah.
Feed me.
Oh my God, we used to so do that for real. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't have no money. We
So
be like,
we used to
wait,
go buy-
how you came over here and you didn't have no money for food?
Yeah. We did that.
But you know what? We
All
used
the
to buy
time.
Chinese food and share it for real, all of us.
Yes.
And then Farrah really wanted
Don't
to
forget
keep
La
a plate.
Cabana.
Right.
Rodriguez, you know my favorite.
Right.
I mean, but she wasn't used to that.
I wasn't.
Yeah, she was.
Not even in the household. That was like a household dynamic, though, too. Remember? What did you?
That didn't really shift.
Oh yeah, but that was more that was before, that was after EP.
But that's
'Cause, you know, like
probably-
my aunts and stuff. But once Nene and Queen Bee came, that was a whole different dynamic.
But the other day I was
But
listening.
before, everybody, whatever's theirs for everybody.
But that's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
You know, my mother always say you have to share food. That's a
Food is,
Share shit food.
yeah.
You know, so you have to share it.
My kid doesn't like to share, though.
Which kid?
Bijou, your goddaughter.
Yeah.
She doesn't-
Ajani's kind of like that. Asha is a sharer. He's like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, she'll share, but she don't really like it. And I'm like, where you get this from? Because it's not me.
That's a her own personality.
Yeah, no, it's a part of her.
But a lot of
that's a
the
lie.
things, the
She's not
traits
like
that
that.
we bring into these type of sibling relationships are learned behaviors too. Like the way that sometimes when me and Rafaela don't see eye to eye and we are not able to like connect on something, we've learned to behave the way that my mom and my aunt behave, or their style of dealing with things, because it's something that we saw, which we always try to work better on.
I mean, we're two
also
different
when it
people.
comes
So, like, are you the aunt and
You know
Your
who
mom-
Jocelyn is. Jocelyn is Stephanie. And Rosalie is Raphael.
Yes,
I don't want to be.
I
I
agree.
don't want to be.
So I think
I feel like I'm better. I'm like a newer version of my aunt, and my aunt has changed dramatically too. She's changed drastically throughout the years too. And I've come to have a different understanding for her. She was a bulldog.
Yes.
I feel like I can be a bulldog, but not in that way.
No, it's true.
My
'cause
sister might be
Stephanie-
different.
Stephanie's way is more passive aggressive, and Tonanjo, aka Jocelyn, the aunt, is more
Yeah.
aggressive aggressive.
My godmother too.
Yeah, her godmother is more aggressive aggressive.
She
I
is super
do
aggressive.
agree that the way that you deal with your siblings is your family dynamic.
For sure.
Because my family's not a lovey. We love each other because we talk to each other. I'm not talking about my family. I'm talking about big family, like cousins, aunts, and all
Not
that.
just nuclear. It's
Not just-
extended.
Right.
So, you know, we're very lovey. We love each other and we say we love each other a lot, but we're not like,
You don't show physically.
we are not. So me and my brothers are not, I love my brothers. Do I talk to my brothers all the time? No. Right? Like I don't call my brothers often, but you know, if something's going on where we got each other's back, hands down, no problem, no issues. But yeah, I think that's how my family is though.
Yeah, so I was going to say that sibling relationships, whether you live with them, but sometimes the ones that you don't live with, like my sister that lives in Chicago, Ebony, she's older, yes, of course. And I would say definitely, I think just like Samantha's saying, sometimes you love your sibling, but you may not be as close as far as like everyday conversation sometimes, but there's no love lost, I would
Right.
say. However, I do think sometimes you have to be more intentional with those relationships. And like even recently, like I know there was a moment where my sister, you know, I think she needs some additional support because, you know, our grandmother, she's going through, she's like 95 years old on my father's side.
That's a
She
blessing.
just turned 99.
Wow.
She turned 99.
She turned 99?
Yeah, December 24th.
So
But that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and she's definitely going through some, you know, she has dementia. And so I think,
At 99, who wouldn't? Come on, let's be honest.
For real.
100 lives, 100
Yeah.
I mean, well, I say that to say she was having a hard time with grandma that day. And then so she called me and we were on the phone and she was like, can you say it in Creole? Because I feel like she's not responding in English now. She only wants to speak Creole. So we were on speaker for a good amount of time. And, you know, she was like, I'm going to give her a bath or I'm feeding her food. Can you ask her? And it was just like, wow. So you see how sometimes now, even throughout the years when we haven't been close in certain moments, that now that, you know, I I think both sides are making more of an effort to kind of stay linked up,
Come together.
or come together, because we do need each other, and we're already tied.
Right.
You know,
My dad is getting older too. He's getting older and he's aging, and you know, you as a child, or when you know, as you grow and you get older, you realize that you are going to in turn be the caregiver at one point, and you're going to be able to, you're the one that's going to provide the care, and you're going to take on that responsibility for that person, because they won't be able to at one
That's
point.
such a scary feeling, because I feel like I'm kind of going like, well, I guess all of us somewhat are kind of going, well, probably not you, Samantha, but kind of going through this right now with our
Rafael and
parents.
Stephanie's mother is young.
No,
and
we
them
go
too.
through
my
it.
mom ain't
yeah.
not that young.
My mom is not that young, but I think we think about
She act like she's a good woman.
that
Yeah,
all
but
the time.
Rosemary, shout out to Rosemary because that's my girl.
My mom. Love her.
Rosemary,
She's younger than Wella, yes.
she's young, and I know that she acts like she. You guys say
Yeah, but
acts
she
like
but
she's
she can't
older.
walk.
Right, but I feel well.
You know what I'm saying, Rafaela. You know what I'm saying when I say
Go ahead.
I feel like Rosemary is still a young person. I feel like she's, even though she acts a certain way and she may have a little bit of debilitations because of whatever reason, I feel like she still has a lot of time on this earth. So as opposed to
please,
maybe,
I put that in the universe too.
yeah,
I
because
want
she's
her
still
be
able
here.
to go to work every day.
Yeah,
right?
she's not retired
so she
yet,
has
she
a lot
has to
of
go to work.
time because she's able to do certain things that I know that myself and Farrah's mom, who are older moms,
But wait, let's shout out to Rosemary being the only retired person who's not retired.
That's a fact.
like she's out here. She's out here.
Well, she already gave us our date. She said 11/20/23. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a wrap
Yeah,
for her.
that's-
Okay, we'll see.
in.
Yeah.
Because just also to say what Stephanie's saying about the parents getting older, like now my mother, you know, she's bored. As soon as she retired, she was bored.
Right.
Like she's
So
trying
that's
to-
what I'm saying.
Yeah, she's
And my
trying to
mom
find
has
anything
had
to do.
conversations with me.
So
and
she
said-
does your laundry all the time.
Yeah. Well, so my
My
mom.
mother does she wants to, she tells me to send my laundry to her. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mom, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna send my laundry to Brooklyn for you to
Yeah,
do.
I would send my laundry.
So
I
that's
would
what my
send it.
mom's
I hate
told me
laundry.
too. Like she
would've did
she
it.
stresses me about
I hate
like
laundry.
having a life partner, telling me how so many different things that she would change or she would have, you know, adjusted to differently if she would have known better. And not that she needs a man in her life, because she hasn't needed one. She's been able to get by very nicely on her own, but it was just like it would be nice to have that partner, like, and not just feel like, oh, it's just my kids, because my kids they're gonna have their own life too. And then I know for me, it gives me that little, like, I've always been like, I can't leave my mom, like I can't leave her. Who's gonna take care of her?
But she don't need nobody to take
Who's
care
gonna
of
care for
now.
her? Like as she gets older, what's gonna happen?
But you have to cross that
She
bridge
don't have
when you get there.
nobody.
You have to cross that bridge when you get there, because you can't think about that and then not move forward with your life, because
Yeah,
you know we all love
stop your
Rosemary,
life.
but Rosemary has lived her life.
You're right.
And Rosemary is not going to want you to be like, oh, you got to stay home and take care of me. If she's already telling you she wants you to have a life partner, that means that she wants you to move on with your life. Now, if Rosemary was sick in the bed and she was ailing, that's a different story. But don't put the cart before the horse.
Right.
Don't give Rosemary something that she don't have.
Right.
And she might not be able to walk as much as she wants to or do things as much as she wants
She
to.
could walk, but it was a joke.
Oh, okay.
I was being sarcastic. She could
and every
walk.
time, let me tell you, every time I see Rosemary, she with the heat and the fire.
She dipped out.
definitely
She
is
dipped
spicy.
out.
Right.
She did.
So
Look at my Crocs, guys. Look
Right,
at
and
it
she
out
like,
here.
Eleanor,
Come on.
Eleanor, I got something to show you.
Right.
Let me tell you, I went to the Diamond District. Okay.
No, the other day she showed me them cups. You know, like Rosemary.
Oh, she be up on it.
But a lot of her life.
She be having her bedazzled Crocs out
yeah,
here.
But a lot of her life is involved with work, and maybe she doesn't want you guys to have that same kind of.
That's what she says
situation.
too. She's like,
Right.
no, this like I've been
A lot
working
of her
so many
things is because
years.
she's worked so hard, but I don't think that you should be stressed. I mean, I'm just giving my 2 cents because we're talking about Rosemary. I don't think
Right.
you should be stressing about, I have to take care of my mom, because you haven't gotten it yet.
She's just probably gonna want you emotionally to talk to, because she might be bored. So if
Right.
she doesn't find some type of
Yeah.
hobby or hanging out with her sister, she's probably just gonna be needy in that sense. Like, oh, what are you doing?
And that's the
Just to
thing
see if
too.
you're bored.
Her and my aunt have this weird relationship where they have like sometimes they're
But
in
who
all
doesn't
in
have? Who doesn't-
and sometimes they're all out. But it is draining.
But
I
like-
know it's draining, but I mean, like you said, there are two different types of people also. So, Tonjo, shout out to her. She's a Cap. My mother's a Sag. You know, I believe in signs. Sorry for who doesn't. And you know, they bump heads because they
Yeah,
they don't see the same in a lot of ways.
It's like my godmother and my mother. They bump heads, right? Like they go to war.
Yeah.
But I don't. Do I get involved in that? That's not my business because
Right.
that's how they move.
Right.
And I know that God forbid
Right.
something happens to Maria Silverio, you're gonna see my 88-year-old aunt
Correct.
coming to take care
Yeah,
of her.
and
That's the
absolutely.
dynamic.
And that is that
big sister, little sister.
correct. And that is their dynamic. And even till this day, even when they're warring, my aunt would be like, well, Rosemary's my older sister. Like, that deference is still there. Like, she still
Right.
has that deference
Right.
for her. Like, no, she's my older sister. So that's why I didn't say that to her. But I would have.
But they involve you guys a lot.
We do that a lot too. Me and my
But
sister do.
your aunt and
They do
mom
involve
involve
us.
you guys a
They
lot
do.
in
Yeah.
their.
Yeah.
They haven't
Do you
been.
think that they involve them, or Raphael and Stephanie insert themselves in it?
We
that's
do
a
not.
great-
I do not.
I
I'm
think
gonna
they
say this.
involve them.
I do not insert
I think
myself.
I think there's two ways. I think once you hear one side, you insert it. And I think sometimes when you're asking for follow-ups, you get brought in. So I don't ask for follow-ups as much as I used to because I don't want to be brought in, like you said. But I think lately they haven't been inserting us. But before, I think they would tell
think
us.
that because like me and my older sister, we have our strife. I love my older sister to death. We might have our situation. She has older children. And one thing I tell her older children is it's not your concern what me and my sister go through because you don't know. You might hear her side of the situation, but you don't know my side and vice versa. And no one hears angels.
Right.
Okay, so you need to stay in your lane because whatever you say to me is going to affect what we got going on.
Right.
And that's going to bring more strife.
Right.
So I always try to say, listen, that's
Has nothing to do with. Has nothing to do with you.
I don't call them to be like, oh, you must what your mother did. None of that is happening because at the end of the day, that's my sis. And at the end of the day, when we get back and you look like the asshole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you
And
have
I
to
think
understand
that's where they're at now. I think before they used to try to call or say, well, this is what she did or this is what she said. But lately, especially if you try to be like, why y'all not talking about, mind your business. Stay in your lane. Don't worry about it. That's me between me and my sister. All right. With your sister.
Recently, like
I
I
love it.
had said that to my mom, and I was just telling her, life is too short. You guys are getting older. It's no real reason to have all this strife between you. You guys gonna need to talk it out. And my mom did.
She got shut down.
She shut me down. She
And I was like,
don't. She said, don't ask me that no more. And I was
Okay,
like,
and that's it.
excuse me.
right.
Man, and you have the nerve.
And I did have the nerve.
Right. I was like,
But-
girl, leave it alone. And she
Right,
was just
because
like,
sometimes, and the same thing with my aunt. Like I know that my cousins, sometimes my mother and my aunt may have a little feud, but they've been alive on this earth for a long time. Both of them, like I said, my aunt is 88, my mother is 76. Come on now. They're gonna feud.
Right.
They're gonna have problems. But at the end of the day, if my cousin would say something like, my name is Ben and I ain't in it because I don't want to be because I love my godmother and I love my mom.
Right.
And there's no reason for me to be involved because they're going to get right back.
Right.
And even if it takes 3-6 months or whatever, they're going to get right back. My aunt moved to Puerto Rico and came back. They got right back. You know,
I mean,
so
Puerto Rico.
Narita went to Puerto Rico when my father passed away right before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So they got right back, right? So
oh, I got sick. They got right back.
Right.
Oh, I gotta go. Oh, what happened to my aunt? My godmother was like, not feeling well because she's older. She's getting older, and my mother was like, "Wow, she's not eating. She looks too skinny."
Right.
Well, I gotta tell her to come live with me. I'm like, she was just talking to. So it's you
Right.
cannot.
And they do the same thing, like you said.
Right.
But the
So-
takeaway that I was trying to tell her was like, what, I really don't want my relationship with Raphael to be that way.
Well, it won't be that way because you don't gotta
So
project that.
so that's my point. So that's why I was saying, and I said that to her. I was like, promise that we don't get like that
Which I
because
probably will.
I got to work on it.
we.
when
I
it,
think,
when it
but
pops up, you should
if we know already,
Because-
if we know better, we can do better. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm
but y'all
in
gonna
that
have-
way. I'm not gonna say that we're not gonna have differences, but we
Yeah.
can definitely not get to that point where it's so bad that we can't have a conversation about it. I don't want it to be that way.
I mean,
and I think sometimes I have these expectations in my mind about what I want. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, and I'm okay with that too. But I can have a different intention behind how I want our relationship to be. So that's what I mean by putting that out there. I can say, okay, I don't want us to be that damaged for us to not speak in months or be able to be away from each other for months because to me it's not worth it. Time is too precious.
Right. And
We
then,
have
and then if a situation does happen because you don't want that dynamics to happen, you will work on it to make sure it doesn't happen.
Sometimes people need time away. Sometimes when they have a break, you know, because I have sisters and I have sibling relationships, so I can understand. And anything, sometimes you just need fucking respite from your sibling. Sometimes you need respite from your family because they don't get it or they don't understand.
Yeah, sometimes it can be draining.
And even if it's a 6 month period of time, you might need those 6 months to reflect.
And even in our sister friends, sometimes you need that respite.
Right.
But sometimes you saying we need the respite. So sometimes I find respite in you guys because at least I have that other person that I can call if I have an issue or if I have something going on that I can, you know, I can talk to.
Right. But I do feel when it comes to us, I'm bringing it back to the friendship for 2 minutes. There are, I don't know, for me, there are times I'm like, I can't deal with this person right now, right? I need respite from this person for whatever reason. So I give myself the respite. So I think it doesn't mean that if I need them, I'm not going to call them. If I need respite from somebody else, that's not the person I'm going to call. But I think within even our dynamics, because we're so close, there are times you need to like, I want to be around this girl right now because
Her
energy
energy got on my damn nerves.
Right.
Right. It's human to have that. It's human to have that break. It's human to be disappointed in people. To
Right.
be like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with this?
Absolutely.
But the good thing about our friend group, because this is a podcast about our friend group. Hello, hi.
Hey.
The good thing about our friend group is that we're able to get
We
back.
bounce right back.
And-
Just like with siblings, you bounce right back.
Well, not all siblings.
Well, not all
Well,
siblings.
Not all
I'm talking about an hour who we're talking about. You're talking about your aunt. You're talking about each other. Yeah, you bounce back.
Right. And then you bounce back because that's life is about working on your relationship.
Yes.
Right? Like I don't want to get into a Deepak moment because, you know, I'm not a fucking
Deepak.
Deepak. But what I'm saying is like you have to, you know, and that, you know, there's that old adage, you gotta, you know, water the grass or whatever.
Yes.
the hell. So you gotta work on it. I mean,
It's a relationship.
Sometimes people overwater and I'm like, chill, you're killing me that way too.
But,
Right.
but I say this to my staff all the time. We are in a relationship.
Okay, it's her staff.
But I say to people all the
She's a
time.
boss.
What do you say?
I say that we're in a relationship and we got to continue to work on this relationship.
that's true.
There's
You have
there's relationships with your coworkers, family,
That's
friends.
true. That's
You know, these are relationships that you got to continuously work on,
into and-
pour into, whatever that may be.
And whatever that looks like for your.
But it is
your
a relationship, and
That's
all
true.
relationships you need to work on.
And
I
sometimes
agree.
You gotta know when to say when though.
Right.
That's true.
Because there is a toxicity line where you're like, come on now.
And there's some
Right.
families
Fucking
that you,
draining.
and there's
No,
some
it can
families
be
that you have to be like, I love you, but I love you from a distance.
Right.
You know, like if something happens, I'm there for you, but I cannot be around you or be next to you or be in your presence or in your dynamics of lifestyle or whatever that may
And
be.
let's look at it from their perspective. Because when you say that to somebody, when you put up a boundary and say, I can't be in this thing with you, they're offended and they feel like, shit, this person is not there for me because they're not putting up with bullshit. And people
Yeah.
confuse putting up with bullshit as in, I love you, I'm going to be right here. Being in a negative space does not provide love for people.
Right.
It makes both of us miserable. It doesn't
Right.
work for anybody.
Right.
So therefore, okay, I'm giving this boundary, but the other person sees it as a negative.
Right.
Oh, you're being a bitch. Oh, fuck her. Or she's being an asshole. She don't want to talk to me. Or she's
Right.
better than me.
Right.
That's not what it is.
Well,
Right.
yeah, that's not
I
true.
need my fucking
Yeah.
head.
You need just
Right.
I think
too,
sometimes
like-
it's about just creating that space for yourself. Like, I need a minute. So I need to maybe remove
Sometimes it's more
myself.
than a minute. Sometimes you need to disconnect from certain family members who
But
are
then on the
toxic
flip
to you.
side of that, sometimes the minute be too long and then the bond is broken.
Right.
And it's
That- and
okay.
that-
But I
and
think
that-
that
can happen.
And I
Right.
think
Yeah, but
sometimes
you
it's
can't
okay if
control
those
that.
bonds get broken.
Yeah, 'cause
that
that
means
means-
that bond was not meant to be.
Yeah, 'cause
because
my
I
thing
believe
is-
in that. I'm like, some people's seasons, people are in your life for seasons or whatever.
And that could be family.
And it could be family, and it's okay. And I think that people are so afraid of saying that I'm breaking away from this family member for whatever reason. I mean, it has to be a valid reason, right?
It can't be because we don't like the color on their wall.
Right. Or like she don't clean her house, whatever. But like, you know,
I
like,
mean, she don't clean the house.
I think it also.
well, I mean, everybody's
Right.
cleaning us is different.
Right, but I also think it depends on what you're willing to accept for your energy
What is your breaking
at that
point?
time.
In your relationship with your boyfriend,
Right.
your partner, everybody has a breaking point. What is your absolutely no's, right? Just same with families. What are your absolute no's, right? And you say, I'm breaking away from this family
And you
member.
can't control people's response because you may want it to
You
go one
cannot.
way and it's not. So it's at the end of the day, like if you want to break away for a while and they don't understand coming when you come back, or even telling them from jump, you can't control that. That means it wasn't meant to continue.
Right.
And you've gotten what you've needed from
For that
each other.
relationship.
Yeah. And then
then
let's
keep it
just
moving.
move
Because
on.
some
I
people
agree.
say, oh, you make time for so and so, but you don't make time for me. Oh, you make time for dope. But people don't understand, so and so ain't doing me like you doing me. Sis.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't compare me.
Not literally, because you said sis, but not literally.
No, not really.
She's saying
No, I'm
she's
joking.
saying like sis,
Right,
like
right.
sis.
But like girl, whatever, like, or for example,
Bro.
even in our relationship as friends, like sometimes people will compare, well, you do this for Rafaela. I said, but you know what the fuck Rafaela does for me? You can't fucking touch this much. If Rafaela does this much, you do this, okay? So when Rafaela calls me, I'm going because this is how much she does. And this is how much you do. This is a T class right here.
Yeah,
So,
the
you know
T-class.
what I'm saying? No, but
I understand your the difference. Or
Yeah.
there's a
people
difference.
want to act like you have to be the same with everyone all across the board, and you cannot
Right.
be the same with everyone.
Right, I agree.
Because this person's not going to do for you what this person does.
I mean, that is learned though. Sometimes you do learn that through experience. 'Cause
Right.
sometimes you initially think everybody will do the same for you, but they don't.
They don't, and you have to understand that it's okay.
Right.
It's okay if, and in my big age, we keep saying that's the one thing. Hashtag my big age.
My big age.
At my big age, I'm realizing, you know what? Listen, I'm gonna pour into this person as much as they pour into me.
Right.
I'm not gonna ruminate like my last
Yes.
podcast. I'm not gonna ruminate about this in my mind. I'm gonna say, you know what? This is a healthy boundary. I had a convo with my mother yesterday. We went to my sister's to get together, and my mother has this incredible habit of bringing up things that are hurtful to her every time we are together. And I said, Mom, you don't like hanging out with me? On the drive back, she's like, yeah. I was like, because you constantly bring up all these other things, and we had such a good night together. Let's just have this good night together. I don't need to hear about who did what in 1969, who did what in Dominican Republic that hurt you. This person did this. I don't need to hear that today. We just came from having a nice time with your youngest child. Let's just chill out. You was lit. You know what I'm saying? You was dancing
She was very
salsa.
lit.
You was with Rafaela. You get in the car and you come all the way down. And I feel like I see that in my mom. I see that she's in this circle of the past. And I want my fucking exit. Like I don't want to be thinking about what happened. Oh my God. And I'm like that. I internalize. I think about what happened last week, 3 days ago. I'm pissed about some shit for 4 years ago. And it's not,
You know what? I took an aging class and it talked about aging and how we process each stage of our as we get older. And they do say that at that point, I think that's the age that your mom is at, that they start to go basically reflect on like all of the things that they could have changed. They go through this almost, I don't want to call it a depression, but they go through like all of the different things that they wish that they would have changed or they could have made different in their lives. Like all of the relationships that they could have, could have ended up better, but that didn't. Like all of the fails.
I feel like
almost.
my mom's been doing that since she was 60. Like I feel like she's been doing that for my whole life. I feel
Does
like
she only
my
do
mom-
it to you? Or
They
does-
do
anytime
that before they
she's
go
with
to
Jade,
autonomy.
She does the same thing.
I feel like she does that. I feel like that's her way, right? And I feel like she's someone that's how she is. She's just someone that's always, because she feels, my mother is of, like Rafaela said, I'm a believer in signs. If you don't like it, sorry. And because she's a Virgo, I feel like she's always in her head about what she does for people and how she feel like it should be reciprocated.
Yes.
And I said to her,
Big
it's
Virgo
never
trait.
going to be that way, Mom.
Right.
And my mother taught me that too. So at a young age, I'm always looking, even my relationships, for reciprocation. And I'm like, I cannot look for this reciprocation because it's not coming my way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then you have to realize it's not coming your way, girl.
Right.
So, and I was talking about, Mom, these people, first of all, half of them are not even alive. God.
I don't mean to laugh.
They're not even here, bro. Like, cut it out.
Right.
And she said, okay, I would, my mother. Oh, y'all know my mother. Y'all don't know her. She's the best mom ever.
She
Shout
is.
out to
Shout out to Willa.
Like, I'm not gonna talk about it again. I said, thank you, God. Like, can you put it in writing? Because and she's like, oh, Lonnie. Oh, but I get a lot of my sass from my mom because she's sassy, and I'm like, bro, like, come on now, you could take it because she could dish it. She dishes it. I'm like,
No, she
come
could
on,
take
bro.
it.
Like, bro,
Shout out to Wella, y'all.
Wella's the best, for real.
Her bacalao and all her shit.
And the yellow rice with the
little we had.
No, the rice.
And the steak too.
The steak be good.
The steak be
I
hitting.
can't cook like
The steak
her,
be
but
hitting.
no. Shout out to my mother, but
Yeah.
and it all circled back to relationships. It all circles back to sibling relationships,
Right.
to family. And this party that we're doing because we are family. And it's always,
We are
Right.
family.
Yeah, and we just want to say that nothing is something that can be, and you can change anything. You can change any relationship. Like, you just have to be patient with each other, meet them where they are, and anything can happen. You don't have to be stuck. It don't
And
have to be a rivalry.
Right.
sometimes expectations have to be lowered.
I think you
Right.
should lower. I think lowering expectations is so intricate.
not even having
It
any.
is.
Have
Yeah.
none, because I try not to live with expectations, but we're humans, so we do. But I feel like there are the times when I have no
You're
expectations.
surprised and you're like, oh shit.
Right.
Right.
And it feels good.
feels good.
But when you have expectation and it's not what you expected, you're like, what the fuck?
Nah, I
Right.
mean,
Like, what is this?
I'm not even a
normal?
cursor, but you be like, what
We
the
carry
fuck?
that all the time. We
It's
carry
true.
unkept, unkept expectations. We carry with all our relationships, I think. So I think we walk into it expecting this big, grandiose kind of thing to happen, and when it doesn't, you just like, damn.
I think meeting my baby father, aka husband, has humbled me because I expect all of this, and he just be like, no, like he is who he is,
Right.
But he shows up for me in so many different ways,
Absolutely.
Right.
that I can't really be mad that he's not this humongous romantic guy. Like, I had a boyfriend in the past that would drive me everywhere and do all of this thing, but he was more like crippling. But my husband, aka baby father, was like, "Oh no, you gotta learn how to drive." And,
Right.
Right.
And me, in my mind, I want to be a spoiled pampered princess, but he's like, "Oh sis," and that would give me autonomy to do other things,
Right.
Give me freedom,
Right.
And I didn't expect to, because I didn't think I thought I'd be afraid. But then once I did it, and it gave me more freedom because I met my
Right.
husband when I was young, 22, and and we've been together for a long time. But I feel like I want him to be, flowers and roses, but he's not.
Right.
He's the kind of guy like, here's $200.
Go get the flowers.
Go get the flowers. Oh, here's some money. Go buy yourself something. I'm not doing.
oh, what you want?
Right.
No, but can we talk about your first birthday when you were with he was your boyfriend at the time,
Yeah.
right? And he called, you wanted a pair of shoes.
I wanted a pair of shoes. Yeah.
and sandals, and he was like, here's some whatever she wants.
Right.
Here's
But
$300 for a pair of sandals. $300 for a pair of sandals? You're like, yeah, that's how much it is. Get it for
I
her.
have those sandals.
As you
And
should.
the thing is, like, I'm a perjurer. I don't
Do you?
shit.
Right. I'm so surprised that
Me
you
too.
do have those.
I'm
I
surprised.
keep the sandals. They're still there. I'm usually the first
Do they
pair.
fit you?
They fit me.
Would you wear
I mean,
them?
her foot hasn't grown.
No, my imagine.
No,
it's bigger than this.
your foot grows when you after pregnancy.
Yeah, but
No,
hers
mine
didn't.
didn't.
Oh.
Hers
I
didn't.
would be getting
I feel
left.
So do they work like they're good?
did a little.
Time it grows and it goes.
Mine
back
did a
down.
little.
And then goes
like
up and goes back
I
and
feel
forth
like it
with
goes
weight
back
loss
up
and
and
weight
down,
gain
yeah.
too.
Right.
So you still have those?
I still have this.
And you
good.
wear them?
I tried them on the other day. I don't wear stilettos anymore.
Right.
My ankle was like, ooh, girl. Like, they were quivering, but I still have them. And I showed my daughter, here's the first pair of shoes your dad bought me. She was like, Mom, you told me that shoes 10 times. I know the story about the stupid shoes. I'm like, okay. But that's the small things.
I love that.
Right.
It's the small gestures because it wasn't a big grandiose gesture. Others have
Because he
done-
was a mean guy, and him giving $300 to me, I was like,
can I
what?
tell you how
He
when
was
I
so
first
mean.
met him, I needed to
Wow.
get a ride downtown. I was
This
gonna
ain't
go.
about it
You know
before
what?
the
Let me
night.
tell you. So I was gonna go see Tish. Shout out to Tish. I was gonna go get my hair done by Tish, and I needed to drop downtown. And she's like, "Oh yeah, he could drop you." So then we go up to the car, both of us, and I was like, "Hey, can you drop me off this?" And she's like, "Yeah, come on, drop off my friend." And he's like,
No.
"No,
I ain't come for her.
I said, "Wait, I had plans with her."
Oh my God. I got stories,
First of all,
but
he
I'm going to leave that alone.
The side
Yeah, I
of his
ain't gonna-
eyes opened up
shut
so
down.
wide. I never seen eyes that big before in my whole life. Did I have plans with her? Like, I'm like, wow.
I make arrangements for her.
No, but the thing is, because we all spoiled each other with the way our partners, short-term, long-term partners were at the time. Any
Right.
guy we were with, he'd be like, yo, my friend's coming in the
Right,
car.
right.
Yeah,
They couldn't
yeah.
even fix their lips or anything. We was in the car like,
Right.
We was just getting a
We
car.
wasn't
ready to
Like
call, so we
literally,
just
like I was holding on to the handle
No,
of the
she
car.
was. She was gonna open the door.
Yeah.
He was like, wait, I didn't have any plans with
Eleonora's
you.
husband was the first like, no.
No.
And we'd be like, he
And
can't.
Eleanor
And
was
he's
like, sorry,
Right.
sis.
Eleanor was like dying, like,
She's like, why?
But she loved her man. It was all about her man.
Like that. I told him about you. I'm like, bitch.
She was shaking, but she was like, bye, girl.
Yeah, she was like, bye. And after that, she was like, he's not that.
I told him about. I said, don't do that to my friend. I'm like,
I did say don't do that to my friend. What the fuck? He's his own person. I was like, all right, okay. And I was
But my man, and she was like, bye. So you're gonna go downtown. You're gonna figure it out. Okay, bye. Go with my man.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
So he was the first boyfriend.
Yeah.
/ husband.
I think he was the only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that no one else ever did that because usually we get
Nobody ever really did that hard.
Nobody ever said no.
Yeah, nobody ever said no. Brian never really said no, but he doesn't say no. He always drove y'all wherever. He used to look at me like, I'm like, yeah, they're going. Can you just drop them?
Right.
But he's like that anyway. He would drive anyone home if it's late, but he wouldn't leave people in the corner and tell them to walk home at 5 o'clock in the morning. But that's neither here. Whatever.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
Shout out to my husband for being unique, for breaking boundaries and
Breaking the
setting
rules.
boundaries and breaking
Breaking the
rules and
rules.
setting boundaries.
Nah.
Right.
He's like, nah, this ain't that
we're not
type
gonna
of
do
party.
it.
It's a
Yeah.
2-person
But
party.
you know what? But
That's
also
it.
one thing about that situation is that a lot of us, our relationships get entangled with one another, and then you kind of get mad at the husband or the boyfriend, and he was kind of the first one that he really don't get involved. He don't get involved with y'all, and I guess that makes for longevity because if y'all would drive him crazy. It's 9 of us, and he's like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? So. I guess that's a boundary he put up. So, those are your girls. I love them when they come up with what's up. Hi, guys. But
2 seconds and out.
Right, but
He's gotten better though.
He has gotten
so much
friendlier.
He's super involved. Like,
First of all, he is super involved.
He has
First of all,
personality.
when we went to Disney and he bust the dance in the Disney World, I said, then that's it.
That's it.
He's ours now. He's ours now.
Look how we come that we went to Disney without Eleonora and
He did not come to Disney World. He was in there like, guys, like, what's to eat? I don't understand. My wife would have had my plate of food ready. What's going on?
And I was like,
here?
your wife ain't
And
here,
we're
baby.
like, no, you
Here's
gotta.
the toast, here's the eggs.
Here's your plate. You gotta make your plate. He's like,
shout out to him going to Disney.
no, it's so
without me
funny.
and
Wait,
going with my friends.
but he was
that
like, so
was a
y'all
big
y'all really not gonna make the plate for me? Like looking at us.
that was a
dead
big
ass.
deal.
but we made it for him.
We
We
did.
still made
We
it for
did.
him
We
though.
did.
We took care.
Who took care of my family like she was a
took-
stepmother.
yeah.
I was like, oh God, Jacqueline. She's like, oh, your family is something else. But we've come a long way.
Yeah.
Another example.
Love it.
Relationships, how shit changes.
Yes.
We went from I don't know these motherfuckers to going to Disney together.
Right, for
Everything
sure.
can be healed.
Yes.
And he had a good time.
A great
Sometimes
time.
he'll be with us, but he'd be like,
Yeah.
and then he bust the whole dance in the Disneyland
Oh
park.
yes.
In the front, it was a stage.
and
The guy
match-
was
and-
singing and he's
Yes.
dancing.
Animal
the whole
Kingdom.
crowd when it was like looking at him, I was like,
Yes.
who is
In
this
Animal
man?
Kingdom in the
Who
African
is this
section.
man? Yeah.
That was a good time.
That was a good time. We had a great time. In
The rain
Disney.
I love
stopped.
y'all.
I
Rain
love
stopped.
that. Yeah, I love that
We gotta
Disney
go to
shit.
Disney without the kids.
I want to go to Disney.
I would
without the
love, and I
kids.
want to go
Christmas.
at night, and I want to go to the Avatar
kids.
Yes,
section.
Christmas.
yes,
Like
'cause we have to
holiday.
do that.
We didn't really do
Without the
it.
kids though.
Maybe we would have to bring the kids, but
No, I do
Yeah.
not want to go to Disney with the
No,
kids.
I wanna
she
go-
said Disney with the kids on holiday. I'm like, that's kind of mean to go to Disney on a holiday and not bring the children.
No, I don't want to go on a holiday. What do you mean a holiday?
Yeah.
Like when they have
Christmas
vacation?
holiday.
I heard
I don't want to
Christmas
do
is-
that.
Christmas in Disney, I heard is
Fire.
I know it is, but I want to go off season because it's less crowd and all that.
okay. I'm just saying.
But I would
that
love to
be
go
a
to
good
Disney
time to go.
without the kids
No, it'd definitely be a good time to go.
because you know with kids you gotta stop. You gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta
And all the
fucking go
rides.
no more.
and then they
Right.
fight, and then they're
That's true.
tired, they're hungry, they gotta pee every 5 seconds, and you
That's
gotta go to the
true.
long
And
ass
they
line. But
fighting
for
each
us,
other, too.
we could go for hours without eating.
I'm
Well, I don't
like,
know about
wait, how y'all
Eleonora,
fight?
but
Oh, Farrah.
every 2
Farrah
hours,
can't go. Oh, I just spitting that hard. Farrah can't go out without.
every 2 hours, they
I
two
was
gotta
gonna
eat
say-
something. But
I was telling them like, how y'all fighting? This is the most magical place in the world. How you
Ooh,
fighting the
them-
kids?
Them kids. Let me tell you something. They're not like us. Them first of all, my kids. That's like the 4th trip to Disney when they went with y'all. So they were like, we done with this. Me, I would have been like, like when I went to Disney the first time, I almost passed out.
that was my first time going.
I went when I was 9 years old. I'll never forget. Oh, my godmother. And first of all, we went to Disney by bus, but that's neither here nor there. And
I
then
went to Disney by bus all those times.
that with the church group and they were
Yes,
singing, and I
yes.
almost like,
Oh, wow.
I was like,
But that's like a
That's why I used
20-hour
to go to
bus
Disney.
ride.
The first 4 or 5 times was bus.
That's a 20-hour bus
I'm
ride.
like, damn, how
take
come
the
my
bus.
mom didn't know about that church trip?
I guess not, because she promised
It
us
was
every year. Hold on, she promised us every year we going to Disney. We ain't go. I'm like, damn, we not going again.
That's called the workaholic, not taking your
That
AK.
is no. Every year we like, we not going again, Mom.
Sarah,
Damn.
please stop. That's not using your
No,
kids.
I gotta bring Asher though, because he's been asking me, and I'm
Asher
like,
is.
We're gonna take-
How old is Asher?
9.
8 now.
8.
Okay, Asher's 8. He'll go to Disney when he gets to Disney. We have to stop putting.
I agree.
expectations on- my kids. Like
I totally
No,
agree
because
with
know why?
you.
'Cause I feel like
First
by his
world
age,
problem, sis.
Yes.
I was going a lot by his age, but I understand now prices are different because it was way cheaper when I was going.
What?
No, but it was cheaper. It was not cheaper.
It wasn't
at the
cheaper.
time of 1985. Okay,
It wasn't cheaper for a parent to still go to Disney.
At that
It was
time,
still
it was expensive.
Even if you guys were, might have struggles, you guys both went to Catholic school.
Correct. Well, that's what I
Right.
was gonna say. So
Right. You
I
got
can't
both-
say it was like
I don't. You see that whole Catholic school thing because I was lower class, right? Shout out to my mom who she was focused, but because she was so focused on making sure that her children had a different type of education. My mom made sure that her children were in private school, right? Like she was like, public school? What is that? Especially I think first generation.
I think first generation Haitians
It's
a
for the
lot.
Haitians,
That was a
it's
lot
a
of
big
culture.
culture thing.
Ignorant towards public school.
I don't
Yeah.
think it was ignorant. I
I would say ignorant
I
is
think
not
it's
on my
ignorant 'cause
end.
My mother would say, "Bum, public school, what? Bum, they beat you
Yeah,
up and have
yeah.
But back in the
Yeah,
days was
yeah,
bad. It
It
was.
depends on the neighborhood too.
Yeah.
We could get into a whole.
It does depend on the
socioeconomic
neighborhood.
reason
It
why
definitely
that was-
depends on the
You know,
neighborhood. Just like
right.
it
It
is to this day.
But what I'm
it was
saying, but we could
ignorant.
get into socioeconomic reasons and systemic racism why that was the way it was in
Right.
the public school. Right?
That's
Right,
another
of course.
podcast.
That's
though.
another podcast.
That's another
But
episode.
in terms of that, a lot of us went to private schools because it was a better option. My
Yes.
parents thankfully never struggled for me to go to private school or my sister, right? Samantha's mom sent her to school, but it was a struggle, right? And you guys went to private school, but you guys continued. You went to even private high schools. My mother was like, "Oh, the buck."
No, the buck stops
You
here.
know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right.
I ended up going to a public high. I graduated from a public high school.
Yeah,
I
but,
mean, that's different too.
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could talk about this shit all day.
Right.
We could talk all day about.
but we're gonna not have to. 'Cause
Right.
We're gonna wrap it this up.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, but Farrah, you were middle class. Period.
Yeah.
And some can even say you were a little bit upper middle class.
Like you and Harvey, no? I mean, I know.
Farrah's one of those kids. You know those kids
But,
who want to be.
Farrah also measures success differently than we measure success.
Okay.
Because she's an only child and because she was given a lot by her mom, she sees things in a different worldview.
She has a different
But
lens.
I
Yeah.
think it was
She showed-
easier
definitely.
because I was the only child. You guys had siblings. There's more of an overhead. I was my mother's only child.
But that's just what
And
I'm saying.
but like
because
I
you have
said,
a different worldview because
yeah, and
of
she
that.
had help. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't. I mean, she was busting her butt. But like I said, EP had no kids. EP lived with us. So EP was like, this is my child too.
Exactly.
what
So
I'm
you
saying?
had support
So
in
I
the
had
family.
support.
So
you know what
even
I'm saying?
further making our point concrete that
But
she was
meaning
more
like
middle
my
class.
mother herself with her.
So
like I said,
that's maybe we shouldn't say your mother herself, but your lifestyle.
my lifestyle was
was
probably
a
middle class.
No, not probably. Your lifestyle was a middle class lifestyle.
Period. And you need to
And
accept
it's-
that and be
accept
okay.
that.
Yeah, I
And
was
it's
about to
okay,
say-
Farrah.
Because
it's okay that you were our rich friend.
I feel like sometimes you want to feel like you were like fucking struggling.
I was not. I never would say that. I never.
No,
said
but
that.
don't
I don't feel.
don't
It's
diminish
late,
that.
but I just
accomplishment
wanna-
of Doracina.
No, I'm just saying. I
Shout out
didn't.
to
I was
Doracina.
like,
Doracina.
I hope I'm not
Shout
pissed.
out.
Like I hope I wasn't painting this image like it was grander, and I was like, no. But yeah, we weren't. We were far.
I mean, but there was nothing wrong with it being grander either if it was.
Like,
Right. But
My
you're
mother-
comparing grandeur to also the environment. You're thinking as an adult, right? Too like your environment now, what grand is today, right? And what middle class is today, which is
And it's not the
fucking
same.
terrible.
Yeah.
So middle class today, we
freaking
We not
exist.
middle
I'm not.
Ain't nobody been middle class. Ain't nobody middle class.
So what middle class?
We lower class.
hello, we lower middle.
We lower middle. We not
Okay.
even lower middle. We
I'm not
lower
even a
lower.
How about that?
But
Not all of us.
that's a different. Well, Samantha, not all of us, but it's the reality is that it's not the same like it was back then.
Right.
Right.
So you
And the
can't-
middle class was easier to be in that middle class. Now it's such a big
Yeah.
again.
and again, that's a
Socioeconomic
Hello,
conversation.
hello,
We can
hello.
go deep, guys. We could get there, but we like y'all like the
and
ratchet stuff.
hopefully
So
we
gonna talk
will.
the
We
ratchet
will
stuff.
talk about that one day.
Right, and it's we don't always gotta be. We're not a political podcast. We
No.
know who we are. And
Right.
At the end of the day, that's too much shit. Nobody want to.
Right, it's so heavy.
Nobody want to
Yeah.
watch shit and be mad down. Like, oh my god.
Like I'm poor.
Yeah.
I would like
We
to
never
say,
gonna get
You want to
by.
end some?
I want to say something. I wish I had siblings though. I mean, you guys are my sisters, but I wish I had the siblings like living in a house, and I could say, "Oh, let me call my big brother." Or like when something's going on with my mom and stuff, I could be like, "I need to call my big brother," or
So
"I need to call my
that is-
sister."
that is my
I
fear
don't have
for
that
you.
experience. That
Yeah.
and that's like I've
fear,
been
but my concern.
blessed that my mother's been so independent her whole life that literally when my mother made the shift to where I feel like I'm the caretaker. Until this day, I feel like I'm in denial a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when I see her do things or ask things,
Yeah.
I be looking at her. I'm so used to her just doing it. And when she asks me, I get a little agitated and I'm just like, and I have to take
a step back.
Take a step back. And I put the hat on of, oh shoot, I gotta help my mom. And I have nobody to call.
But there
And I'm
are
thinking,
some
like,
siblings that don't, even though they don't.
You can't call them.
You
Yeah,
can't
you
call them,
can't.
but that is something I always I think about that for you because you are the only if something happens to my mom, I can call one of my brothers.
Yeah,
Even though one of my brothers lives in North Carolina, but he'll come in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
Or he'll be like, I'll take over or I'll do this. Like somebody's going to do something at some point.
But you have someone to share the load with.
You can share the load. And it's
really
hard.
It's very scary. Like my mother's
you
to the
gotta as
point.
well.
My mother already paid for her funeral spot. She paid for casket, everything. She said, all you gotta do is show up. She said, I don't want no wake. Just find me to church. That's it.
We're
But
gonna
that's-
do a little wait.
And
But that is
Yeah.
no, but even
sometimes you're like, do I respect that?
Yeah,
Yes.
you respect her
I think you
wishes.
should.
I'm
Yeah.
like, you should have a wake because your family's gonna be like, oh, fine.
no, but you could. We'll talk about that another time. But you don't
That's a
have
whole
to
other
do.
podcast, a whole other-
You don't have to do a wake. You can do a viewing at the funeral.
Yeah, but she's like, I don't want nobody singing no church shit,
Okay.
faking shit. She's like, I don't want
Yo,
none of
your
that.
mother is such a Virgo.
Such she's like, just bury me. She said, just do a little mass.
No, but those are the
And
the
just
ones
bury
who
me.
plan that. To me, it's the smartest thing. I mean, me and my mom talk about it all the time, but we just haven't planned it because it's still like, oh, we got to plan this, mom. Because I am the middle child. I am the one who does the planning and all of that. And my mom's like, this is where all my papers are because it's me. Because she ain't calling my little brother for that. She ain't calling my big brother for that, but she's calling me. But okay. But I think that is so important to do that. And, I mean, we don't want to get there and have this conversation because it's so morbid. But planning.
morbid. People die.
Planning your death and what you want is so
Planning your funeral.
Your funeral is so important because it helps the ones that are living.
Yeah,
It is. My
It
mom
does.
always
Oh my God.
talks to us about her situation. This is what I have. These are my retirement plans. This is what I left for you. This is what I left for Rafaela. This is what I left for the kids. This is what I have for the kids. Here's my jewelry. Here's my things. She always
those are
talks.
so- you
talks
need to
us-
know these. You need to
But
have-
we don't really have a. She hasn't really. She's shared some of her plans and her ideas.
She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be cremated. That's what
That,
she said.
no
she
one
said that,
who's
but
Catholic
we
wants to be
we
Well,
always give
she
her
said because I
pushback
always
for
been
everything.
scared of the fire, so don't burn me.
I think a lot of people who
I
are,
want to be cremated. I do.
I think I want
I'm
to
not
too.
surprised.
I want to be cremated, get my ashes spread, like souvenirs to my children, like a lock, whatever, that works, and a little urn if y'all want to put on the side, and the rest, just throw it in the ocean.
Thanks, Farrah.
Oh, really? In the ocean?
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
with,
wanna-
with
I do not wanna be
roses.
cremated.
Like a float.
All right.
I do not want to be cremated. Okay. That's
I want a beautiful ceremony. I want
I want a party, guys. Throw a party for me.
okay. Well,
Okay.
we're all going at the same time. So.
No, we have to go at the same time.
Imagine.
No, we say this all the time.
Suicide, we're all like this.
Like the Titanic? Like no, not the Titanic. It was.
like locked in, and we in the bed.
No, but we say this all the
No,
time.
it's the book. No, it wasn't Titanic. It was the book.
No, we gotta go. All of us gotta go at the same day. guys.
No, we say this all the time.
When we're
That
like
would be
mad,
Mad old.
funny,
old.
not funny. That'd be scary.
No, that's so scary. Though.
And because we all gotta go like that, because
We gotta go, we gotta
because
go.
we're siblings,
Right.
And it brings it back. Well, not blood siblings, but we act like
And
that,
we're crazy.
And it
Yeah.
circles back to the conversation that Stephanie started that went
Right.
everywhere.
Which every conversation always goes
Right.
everywhere.
Just one more thing. So make sure that the Sunday choir is singing at my funeral.
if you wanna add that,
I want to add that so y'all know I'm saying it here.
Kanye was
Kanye, yeah,
Oh, wow.
Sunday.
Stephanie,
The
we're all at the
Sunday.
same time, bro. Like,
But I know, but I do want them to sing there.
So we're gonna have a lot of conflicts. Because you may want this, Lonnie's gonna want something.
Yeah.
I just want. I don't want to be cremated.
I don't know. She.
I don't want to
I
be
know she
cremated
want-
Don't
either.
me.
All I know is that she wants flowers.
And I
don't
want to
know
be in a
anything else.
mausoleum.
Who
I don't want to go on the ground.
You don't.
Hello. I want
That's what-
fucking flowers like my
Yeah.
father had. I want OD flowers.
Right.
OD.
Right.
OD.
I want to be in a mausoleum too, though.
You
I want to be in a mausoleum.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know if I
gotta buy a plot.
I don't know if I
Yeah,
want
I
to
do
be on the
gotta buy
wall.
one.
So and just to like wrap this whole like funeral arrangement,
Yeah.
get life insurance.
Yes, please. It's important. I was
By the
gonna
way,
say
you,
that.
you still sell life insurance?
I do. My
Okay.
license is still good, I believe. But Rafaela's is still good too.
It
Yeah,
is.
we
But
have
what
two
I'm saying
people here
is-
that sell life insurance.
Yes.
That's my fear too, not being in a position to be able to plan that, like
But
financially.
you can do
You can plan it now.
For my kids.
$100. You don't
And it's
have
when you
people always
I just
expect,
started
like,
creating
mean?
an estate for
to
Seth.
get like a spot and everything, like the way my
you
mother
could do
did.
You
that
could do
now.
that little bit because even Tonja was gonna get a Muslim where Milan put her mom in Jersey.
Yeah.
But that part stopped. But we're like, what? That's mad far. Where are we going to Jersey all the way to come over see you? Anyway, long story short, but you can pay little by little.
Little by little. That's how my father went. You know, we knew he was going. That was paid little by little. My grandmother, before she was, passed away, little by little. By the time she was passed away, and by the time he passed away, it was already paid for.
So I do think that because we started looking into
That's the worst.
plots or places like during the pandemic. Well, because I think we were talking to my mom about it, and that's when she was like, "I don't want to be burned. Don't burn me." Okay, we're not gonna burn you. Fine. Then she said mausoleum. And
Mausoleum is the big house.
the wall.
The
yeah.
wall.
Oh, the
That's
one that
like
goes
EP.
into the wall. I
But
want to
also
do that one.
mausoleums are also those big. Homes,
Yeah, those big.
ones. It's like
Yeah,
two
but they don't
cars.
have those
Okay.
anymore.
So
Like
you
they're
can
hard
put
to
two
get.
in one?
Huh?
You can put two in one?
But
Yeah,
in the
those
whole
mausoleum and the
wall,
walls
two
you
in
can
one.
fit too.
Oh,
My
okay.
mother
want
has
that.
a plot where it's 3, so she has her plot already because that's what
Well, she has the ground pot.
right. She has an in-ground.
Right.
We have one space left in our plot that
With my mom and my
grandmother is.
my
There's
grandmother
one
and
more
my
space
aunt.
there, I believe.
At the end of the day, too,
There's no place,
naturally
no
it's
way.
fucking deterioration too. Like that boxing ain't gonna be there for thousands of
So
thousands.
that's
of
why I
years.
wouldn't even bother. I'm like, just have my family. Hopefully, my family could. Keep
I like
passing
it
down
because
the line.
I like it because they could come have a place to visit.
Visit you. Yeah.
You know, like it meant so much to my mom to have a place to go see her husband, even though he's not physically there. She believes that he's around. It means so much that she could just take the bus 20 minutes away and go and chill with him. And I think that's why I would like that, because if they want to come visit me, and first of all, I got to be buried in Brooklyn, number 1. Number 2, because nobody's going through no fucking journey.
Yeah, I
And
hate-
number 3, like, it's nice. Like, if I'm feeling away and I want to go see my father, I know where he's at. I don't know he's not physically there, guys. I'm not
Right,
crazy.
right.
But it's nice to know that I could go chill and be like, lay up on the grass and be like, yo, what's up, son? Like, this is what we doing. Or bring my kids.
Put
I
the
want-
flowers, clean it out.
Yeah, I want to be accessible to her. And I think that was a big part of her grieving processes was to be able to go and speak with him. And she was going every week. You know what I'm saying? I think, and she goes there frequently. And I think that was
On
a big
holidays,
part.
birthdays.
Like recently she was over there.
Yeah, it was a
so I'm
holiday.
just saying,
Christmas,
like,
New Year's.
New Year's she went. So I just feel like it's a big part of the grieving process for you to just be able to, it's cathartic. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when we go visit my grandmother, like, both of them, I guess sometimes they bring a thermos of coffee because my grandmother loved coffee, and they pour turkey coffee for her. Here, I brought you some coffee, ma. And talk to her. Like you said, it's a part of the grieving process.
Yeah.
So.
Because at the end of the day, people die. And
I still miss my grandmother every time
As you should.
everything when
She
they
has some
bring her
good-ass
up, I
patties.
always have this deep sadness that comes up.
It's okay. Crying is good.
How did you get from
miss her.
to crying?
Always goes left.
Well, but that's the thing that happens. Like, death is a real thing.
It is.
And then people feel like it's morbid to discuss it.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so neither.
I don't
It's
have a
not.
problem
I don't think
with
it's
dead
morbid,
people.
but I do get scared. Like, this could end any day.
Yeah.
Or definitely soon, but not soon. It's coming, but it could be any day.
People
or
don't feel
hopefully
a way
later.
about seeing bodies. Me, I'm like, okay, let's go visit this body. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things I don't get skeeved out.
But I think it's because you've been around it for so much. I'm that way. Like since 5 years old, I've been going to wakes.
Right.
For
I've been
family.
going through ways for a while,
So
too.
it doesn't.
It doesn't
really-
skeeve me out that much.
No.
But it shouldn't, because what happened? They're fucking Satan in the box. Like, why would you be
No,
skeeved
it's
out
just-
about it?
Right. I just think some people just doesn't like to have that. I think for them they feel the
it makes it
energy.
feel final when you
Yeah.
see everything.
Especially if
And,
they don't look the way you remember them.
Right.
And you know when you see a body,
They
you
have.
see the body,
They have.
you could see it looks soulless and cold and hard.
No, it depends on when. This might get a little morbid, but it depends when you see the body,
That's true.
right? So if you get a call from the hospital saying
Right.
your loved one has passed away,
Right.
say your final goodbyes or whatever
Right.
the arrangements. When you go to the hospital, that body's, depending on how long, the body's still warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So to me,
I tell this story all the time. It is a different dynamics of when you see the body. I was there when my aunt passed away. Like the whole family was around, and I tell you how it's such a beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience to be in that space. Although it's sad, as whatever, but the experience of being there was such like a out of body experience that you're like, wow, this is so beautiful, because you see her taking her last breath and you see her feeling like, calm and good, and like, we're all together. So I think, it shouldn't really be
it depends on how you do it. It depends on how the person passes
right.
away.
True.
Yeah. But ultimately, like when we went to go see my dad, he was still warm.
Yeah.
And my mother was talking to him because he looked fucking regular.
Yes.
Like, he was sleeping,
Same with my aunt.
And then of course you like have this heavy in your
Yeah.
But then you're like, you look alright.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be alright.
And it makes it easier when you go through the other process of the funeral
I think
stuff,
so.
because you were able to say your goodbyes right there when the person was still kind of like warm or whatever.
Warm or alive, but and I think that all the more reason if someone is, when people do the, when they go home to pass away, I think that's nice as well.
Yes.
I wish we would have had that kind of like option, because he was.
Oh, they didn't do it. Was more.
My mother was always thinking that even to the end that he was gonna get better, right? She didn't think that, when they sent him home,
he's gonna go on a decline,
right? And when they sent him home, he went. Then they sent him back. I'm like, Mom, why did they send him back? Oh, he's not doing. I'm like, okay, but I'm young, so I'm like minding my business. But I'm like, sis, let this man just stay right here and do what he got to do. But she's thinking
of the hospital, bring him to the hospital.
More time.
Yeah,
more
right,
time.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
She wants to extend his life.
That's what she was thinking, more time, and I
Right.
understand that as a
right,
wife,
of course,
the husband to go,
absolutely.
right. But I feel like as you get like now, the way we think a little differently. I think that I would want that. I would want come home.
I want to be home. Yes.
Let's just
make me comfortable. I want to be around. I want to hear music. I want to, because your hearing is the last thing that goes. So I want that. I want the way my aunt passed is how I want to pass.
Right.
Unless it's sudden. But that's what I want. No, unless it's sudden.
No,
but
you wouldn't want it to be
something
sudden if you could plan it.
If I can plan it, that's what I want. I want my family around. I want to be like in a space where there's love and people are giving me my flowers while I'm still here. Because you can hear. You can still feel their presence. And I know she felt our presence while we were there. Because we were playing music, we were laughing, we were giving jokes. And you could see because you could see her movements in her eyes that she was still like, present when she was present. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful
and I think that a lot of times we think of death as like so terrible.
It's not.
You realize that it's a part of living.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to cultural. We could go into religion. I have
people think it's terrible because it's the lack of unknown. We don't know what happens.
I mean, but you really don't know sometimes. Cause
and I think that you don't. But that's what I'm saying. That's what people fear.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry.
I mean, but that's why.
I
mean, but that's why even last week
crying.
when I got sick and I was like, okay, the minute I felt a little better, I was already writing down so I could send Stephanie an email with everything, and I was like, thank God, my life insurance is intact. Here's where all the account. Here's the codes. This is the money. This is where.
Yeah.
I wasn't even scared technically a little bit. I was really like, I wanted it.
It wasn't a near-death experience.
It felt that way.
I know you felt that way, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but you don't even know how I got from my house to the emergency room to walk. By the time I got there, I was heaving. Like I was like almost about to pass out. But I didn't even realize I was that bad until I had to walk up. And it's not even a hill up my house.
Right.
And I was struggling.
Your house is a hill, son.
To go down.
Oh, yeah.
And it is an incline to go up, but that's my point. I was having a hard time even going up. I had to slow down because my heart started palpitating. So when I got there, I think that's how they got me. They took me in quicker. Because I was like, my heart is palpitating. I'm not doing well. So I say that to say that I was like, your life can change within minutes. Seconds.
Yeah.
So for me, somebody needs to have all the information. Everything's in place, but I didn't put it somewhere for everybody to have.
Exactly.
So that was what I was thinking. I wasn't even that
I
scared.
gotta give Samantha all that Steve.
No, we're going at the same time. So on that note,
we go at the same time. Who am I give the stuff to?
give it to
Your
me.
kids.
I don't know.
Yeah, but what I want to say on that note, sibling relationships are tough. Okay,
They could be
We
toxic.
are-
Relationships
yeah.
are a relationship that you constantly have to work.
Like
you
any
constantly
relationship.
have to work on. You have to pour into that cup. You have to be intentional. You have to want to like have a decent relationship so you could continue communication, and you have to want it. You have to want it. I mean, it's not gonna always work like that, but if you do want it, it's possible. It's possible.
I agree.
I want to tell my sister that you've been an excellent sister to me. I love you very much. You're always gonna be number one. I would never.
Okay.
I would never want anybody else to be my sister
Besides me.
besides Eleonora,
Thank
and
you.
Samantha, and Farrah,
And all the rest of the girls.
and everybody else.
For me especially.
But just know that you got me to 10 toes down all the time, every day.
That's right.
You know, you and the kids. I will always be here for your children. I will never be too far away
Okay.
in every situation. You know I got you.
You know she goes.
I'm giving you your flowers. You gotta take your flowers, man.
I'll take my flowers.
Okay.
Definitely. I love you to death. You're my sister. I mean, good or bad, we go through our stuff. We'll continue to go through our stuff, I believe. And as long as you said, as long as we're willing to move forward or work through a lot of it, most of the time, then we should be okay. That's how I see it.
Of course.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. You got all my passcodes,
I don't. But
all my
even have
logins.
passcodes.
I
What the
sent
fuck are
you.
these passcodes?
I sent you an email. It says deed.
I don't know. None
Are you
of
talking
my
about
I didn't even know that's what it was.
Yeah.
What is
So
a
her
passcode?
deed. No, the deed. It's like a list of all of my information for all
like
my
your
bank accounts,
your
all
pin
my
codes,
stuff,
your,
my insurance,
your
my life insurance,
your bank
sex life
account
insurance.
information, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But why is that important?
How you
So
gonna
they
get
can
in?
get
Your
into it.
money.
But if you pass away, they're gonna give you your money.
No,
No.
it takes months and months and months to take
Even
the money
though
out of it.
If they're not,
I
if
ain't had that experience with Joseph, but
if
She's
you
my
don't have them,
beneficiary.
if you
Well,
don't have
because you
them
had
on
access
your,
to her account.
if you
and
don't
you
have-
were,
if they
were
don't-
you on her account?
no, it's something different. Go ahead.
Okay.
yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. So let's say I know life insurance. Yeah, she will be on it, but some of the bank accounts, I don't.
They
think,
will not give you no money if you're not a beneficiary.
No, they're
on
gonna
that.
take all that money. It's
No,
not
they're
a-
not gonna take
They don't
it.
take it.
No,
They gotta
it
get
takes a
paperwork.
while for you to show proof
Yeah,
that
gotta
you
get-
are
gotta get the death certificate.
family. Yeah, yeah.
You gotta
You
get
gotta
it to
get
the
the
bank.
death certificate and sign papers, and
Right,
then
it-
wait for them to give it to you. That's it. It's
Right.
gonna take months.
It
You're
takes
not gonna
months.
get access to the money, but it's
But what she's saying is, and this is what my mother says, which is true. She's like, this is the information to my bank account. So if something happens to me, go into my bank account and take the money that you need to do whatever you need.
Correct.
Right.
So that's where the
So
passcodes
that's what
come in.
happens with a lot of
Yeah.
families. As a holdup, people need that cash that's
Right
in the
away.
person-
The liquid funds.
Yeah.
in their accounts, so they can't get to it, and now they're doing a GoFundMe. But that's another story. That's another.
Yeah, because sometimes they don't even have life
They don't
insurance.
have access to the money. They
They
don't have
don't.
life insurance.
They don't have liquid, and then they don't have the policy.
credit cards.
And they don't have no
And
credit
they don't
cards.
have the policy.
And they can't get a loan because their credit's bad.
Hello.
Sometimes
Correct.
you even get the debt too after they die. You're like, oh, sorry, I got debt now. Jesus Christ.
So on that note,
Yeah. Sometimes you get a bookie.
secure on yourself.
Yes, secure on ourselves for sure.
And like, subscribe, and listen to our podcast.
Not the
Yes.
podcast.
Podcast. All right. Yes, everybody does have a podcast. Okay.
And
This
next
is episode
time-
3 signing
Our
out.
numbers are going up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
we
wait,
got an
we got our first
accomplishment.
1,000 views. No.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone.
2,000.
What?
Y'all watching
us?
because
Yes.
they're foolishness. Because they're foolishness.
Y'all watching
It
us?
works.
Yeah, that's
No,
it.
but we got over 2,000 views in YouTube. We have over 100 downloads for the podcast. Thank you guys. We have over 50 subscribers in our YouTube.
Oh, 50 sounds so little, but it sounds so much to
No.
us.
Yeah,
No,
it's so much to us. 50
Yes.
people subscribe. That's
Hello?
fire.
Because we know our other friends outside, they waiting to subscribe. We know you waiting, but you could do it now.
Yes, do it.
Right.
showing.
Come on, you know you want
Like,
to
share, and
On
subscribe.
IG, we know over 50 people.
Yeah, for
Don't be
sure.
shady.
Don't be shady.
Yeah.
Just don't watch and just subscribe.
Right, be nice. Be
You don't gotta
nice.
keep coming back if you don't want to, but
Yeah.
No, keep coming
Yeah,
back.
give us the numbers.
Yeah, just
Right. They're going to want to hear us.
give us
Come
the
on.
numbers. You're gonna eventually want to hear us, especially when we really pop off.
Hello.
Right, for real.
So we trying to put you on early.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can be like, I knew.
I knew them. You know.
Right.
I was
But,
one of the first subscribees.
Yes.
You better go and get ready so you could be ready and so you could stay ready.
Hello.
Exactly.
Period.
For the glow up.
Hello.
Okay.
So
That's
please
it.
download Apple,
That's it.
Spotify, and all those
YouTube.
other
Anywhere you can
podcast
find a
platforms.
podcast. That's
Exactly.
it. That's
This
where
is
we
So
at.
we like dragging.
IG.
Okay.
Yes.
We're dragging it.
We're draggers. Bye.